Welcome back to Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan. I'm broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. The show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency, and Extreme Exteriors. You can count on Extreme Exteriors for expert installation of exterior siding, roofing, soffits, fascia, decks, windows, and more. With their knowledge and experience, they can design the perfect solution to make your home beautiful and energy efficient, saving you maintenance and money for years to come. Give them a call at 763-441-1334 and tell them Gene sent you. It's time now to hear from the Community Associations Institute. The CAI Minute is brought to you by New Concepts Rental Management. Whether you're an accidental landlord or a seasoned investor, New Concepts Rental Management can advise and guide you through every aspect of the business. Give us a call at 952-922-2500.
Are you a member of the Community Associations Institute? For nearly 40 years, CAI has provided education and resources to volunteer homeowners who govern community associations and the professionals who support them. Visit caionline.org to learn more. That address again is caionline.org. CAI helps community association board members by providing online resources, in-person training, and hard copy publications written by association management experts. CAI offers community managers professional development, networking opportunities, and a certification program that's established as the industry standard nationwide. Minnesota has its own chapter of the Community Associations Institute to bring resources and tools from community associations around the country right to your home. Visit caimn.com to learn more and become a member of CAI today. Your community and management company will benefit from your involvement. Join the Community Associations Institute today at caimn.com and click on Membership.
If you're just joining us, we're talking to Don Bauman, who's the Senior Vice President of Government and Public Affairs for CAI, for Community Associations Institute, the national headquarters out of Virginia. And we're talking about this bill in Congress. It's called H.R. 4969, which would give greater rights to individuals who are amateur ham radio operators, allowing them to be able to place a satellite and an antenna on the property. And the problem is, in a HOA, homeowners association, the outside area is something that is owned equally by everybody that lives in the association. And here we have someone in Congress who says that we're not going to acknowledge the right of the majority of people who own the property in this association, at this property, at this site, to be able to govern themselves. But we're going to give greater rights to an individual who may want to put something up that a number of other people don't want to have. And so basically what we're talking about, Dawn, is that there's not really a respecting or understanding of private contract rights. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is looking into getting into contract rights that individuals have already agreed upon when they're buying in their community association. And you know, what's interesting, what I've learned through the process of understanding this bill and the ham radio users. So there are about 100,000 ham radio users around the country. And those are individuals who, as a hobby, use a ham radio. And there are about 65 million, as you may or may not know, 65 million people living in America's community associations. So if you look at that number, that proportion, there are a few individuals, maybe in a few communities around the country, where this situation would exist. Now, what the ham radio users, what their lobby is kind of building their case on the need for this bill is because ham radio users are critical in the communication process during a local emergency or a local disaster. And CAI's members and CAI agree that there are ham radio users, not 700,000 of them, but there are ham radio users who are very instrumental in communication during a disaster and during a local emergency. In the wake of Hurricane Sandy, extremely beneficial. In the wake of 9/11, these ham radio users were extremely beneficial in their communication. They were beneficial, and they continue to be very critical in that communication process. Yeah. And they're successful in that communication process with the existing requirements that they have in their community associations. So the fact that their lobby is kind of saying this is HR 4969 is what's needed for ham radio users to be able to be effective in a local emergency is, kind of really compromises the credibility of what ham radios before have been able to accomplish. The technology today is such that you don't have to have a 70-foot antenna. You don't have to have a huge tower to have effective communications. So many of the communications are available in the voice over internet protocols. So many of them are available with inside wiring, very, very thin wiring that no one would ever see. So to have this bill be, it's all about disaster recovery and communications during an emergency, really doesn't give credit where credit's due for the small group of the ham radio users who have been effective all along and who go through the process and understand the rules of their communities or choose to live in other places so that they can have larger towers.
I think you brought up a great point, Dawn, and that is, if we take a step back and take a look at things, I think right now nationally, people that live in a home that is situated in a homeowners association represents about 20% of the population in the United States. Is that about correct?
Yes, about 23%.
Okay. So you said that means about 65, maybe 70 million people. And if you take a look at that same group of people, they said 700,000 people are amateur ham radio operators. Well, we could probably surmise that 20% of them are in HOAs. So that 20% is about 142,000, and you divide the 70 million people that are living in homeowner associations, you're taking a look at probably 0.2% of the population that are affected. This is really a small group of people to give a special dispensation for that other people don't have.
Right, especially when there's other technology available. So the technology exists so that you don't have to use the towers. You need to use the towers if you want to try to communicate with the moon, but that's not what's trying to, and I'm not saying that to be facetious because some of the amateur radio enthusiasts, that's what they do, and that's fantastic. But that's not, this bill is being pushed as a federal disaster recovery component, and that's just a stretch.
The thing that always amazes me are that the number of people that will write bills, and God bless them, they're going to try and do something for a constituent, something that they think is going to be righting some wrong. But unfortunately, I don't think a lot of times that there is with a lot of our representatives that or in Congress, people who really understand who are all the stakeholders in any given issue, and they don't realize the unintended consequences that take place when they write some of this legislation. I mean, for example, in HOAs, yes, there are HOAs that probably would not allow an antenna to be up, but that doesn't mean that all HOAs are going to act that way. A lot of HOAs, they have the ability to govern themselves, and that's what people find attractive about living in an HOA, isn't it? That they can go ahead and, as a group, if a majority said, we want to be able to have antennas, we can do it. I mean, there are a lot of HOAs where people have said, we have single-family detached homes. We've got a couple of acres per house that's built. We want to allow people to have out barns so that they can have livestock. An HOA can decide that, and that's okay. Isn't that correct?
That is exactly right. And that's the beauty of a community association. Neighbors working with neighbors to create a community that people are happy to call home or privileged to call home. And to have, really a small group of hobbyists say they would like to not have to deal with those rules, I would recommend they just go talk with their neighbors, because if their neighbors agree that this would be a good thing for their community, then they'll create some reasonable rules for their community. But it's about talking with your neighbors, and it's about living in your community, being neighborly, and respecting the general consensus of your community and of your neighborhood. So it's unfortunate that this would look to bypass that opportunity for neighbors to work with neighbors.
And I agree. I think that, it's wonderful. I appreciate a lot of our representatives, people in Congress, people on the state level that represent us in government, and in trying to make sure that we have a good balance of respecting and understanding everybody's rights and responsibilities that they have. But I think it is kind of presumptuous sometimes that we have more and more politicians that think that they have to be a little bit more paternalistic because they have to be able to decide, because they don't feel that an HOA, that particular community can decide for themselves what will or will not work in their community.
Right.
So let me just say in closing here, if people want to be able to track this legislation and where it's going, if they want to respond and be able to share and let Congress know what they think about this bill, what can they do?
They can go to our website, to www.caionline.org/ham radios. And they'll get all of the information about this bill, with an opportunity to participate in our call to action, asking members of the House of Representatives to oppose House Bill or HR 4969 and discourage any further individuals from sponsoring the bill. So that website again is www.caionline.org/ham radios.
Okay. Dawn, thanks so much for taking some time to be on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Gene, thanks for the opportunity, and have fun with your son tonight, and enjoy your grandchild.
I will do that. Well, hey, we're going to take a break right now. Don't go away. A lot more of Where You Live, but we're going to let these sponsors tell a little bit about themselves right now. So we're going to do that. We're guesting on AM 1280 The Patriot. Back after this.